Nearly 5,000 years ago, an ancient civilization existed along the river Nile in Egypt, just as the Indus Valley civilization existed around the river Indus. The river Nile is nearly 4,000 miles long and 6,000 kilometers and is the longest river in the world. The White Nile rises from Lake Tanganyika in southeast Africa and runs south to north through Tanzania, Uganda, and Sudan, where it is joined by the Blue Nile, which rises from Lake Tana in Ethiopia. The delta of the Nile is on the Mediterranean Sea. The Nile is flanked by deserts on both east and west, and there are forests, grasslands, and highlands in the south. Ancient Egyptians found many uses for the river Nile. When spring came around, the water ran down the mountains and flooded the Nile and surrounding areas, and when it receded, it left fertile soil on the banks where the ancient Egyptians grew crops. The river also provided them with fresh water for drinking and bathing, and it was also used for transportation of goods, making trade flourish. Along the shores of the Nile grew a reed-like papyrus, which was used for making paper. The river provided materials for building. Cotton and flax were grown for cotton, fabric, and linen. The people enjoyed a prosperous lifestyle because of the Nile. Egyptians were mostly priests, scribes, craftsmen, and farmers. Administration under the pharaoh. The ruler of Egypt was called the pharaoh, and he owned everything in the land. He was helped by an organized army, a police force, and a large number of ministers and government officials to run the country. The pharaoh had a vizier or prime minister who reported to him daily on what was happening all over Egypt. The vizier was also the chief justice, and people came to him if the law courts could not handle their problems fairly. This is a system of government carried on successfully for hundreds of years, but we also hear of cruel and harsh rulers among them. The ancient Egyptians were polytheists, worshipping many gods. Polytheists means that they believed in many gods, and that was true as they nearly had 2,000 gods and goddesses who usually had animal heads. Temples were built to worship them, and the space was used for other purposes too, such as a school for children and for gathering and festivals of the people. The Egyptians called hieroglyphics the word of God, as these were used primarily by the priests. These painstakingly drawn symbols were suitable for decorating the walls of temples too. Hieroglyphs are written in rows or columns and can be read from left to right or from right to left. The direction in which the text is to be read is defined by the direction of the human or animal figures that always face the beginning of the line. The upper symbols are read before the lower ones. Egyptian civilization came to be known for its writing, as they wrote everything down and kept records. They used papyrus as well as the temple and pyramid walls for writing. At first, they used pictures known as hieroglyphics, but it took too long to write like that. So they created a new form of writing called demotic, i.e. coming from the spoken language. Archaeologists discovered how to read demotic writing but could not read the hieroglyphics till the Rosetta Stone was discovered 200 years ago. It had the same story written on it in Greek, demotic, and hieroglyphics. Scholars and experts thus managed to read the picture writing form and to decipher the hieroglyphics. The Rosetta Stone was found in the Egyptian village of Rashida near the Nile Delta in 1799 by French soldiers fighting there. It is now kept in the British Museum in London. It helped in deciphering the written language called hieroglyphic. The Egyptians invented the decimal system of counting. They used 7 different symbols. One was represented by a single stroke. 10 was shown by drawing one hobble, i.e. a strap used to tie an animal's feet. 100 was shown by drawing one coil of rope. 1,000 was represented by drawing of one lotus plant. 10,000 was shown as a finger. 100,000 was represented by drawing of one frog. A million was represented by the figure of a god with raised arm. That was all about Egypt part 1. So So I will see you guys in the next episode of All About Egypt Part